I'm with you. I don't need to see it at all.
I got a question for you, Mr. Mason. What does Bank of America do? Do they come out and look at your house when they
Nope.
financing it? Do they do anything?
Oh, when I bought my house, no. I had to sign a bunch of paper. Well, they sent the an appraisal, but outside of that, nope.
They don't care what need to be fixed in that house, as long as it meets the standard and you like it and you want to sign for it. It's your baby.
Yep. Yep. It's your issue, not mine. Once you sign, here's that loan. Make those payments. I don't care.
So if you get Mr. Holmes, if you think about it, be like the bank. What would the bank do? That's your when you start thinking about stuff like that. How would the bank operate in this situation?
The bank send out people. They don't send out staff, but the appraiser is their eyes and ears.
We had a lady call one of my bandit signs who offer private money, and she just told me to just let her know when I got something lined up. That's another option. But what I want to do is try to see if I can get the arrears put on the back of the loan, and that's where Chris comes in to see if we can try to make that happen or not. So if I could do that, that's the way I want to go. I do got the money to just pay it for myself for real. I don't want to do that, but I will. But I could do private money too.
Did you try to beat her up on the down payment?
I did not, man. I gotta get better at this. I be being too soft out here, to be honest with you. I just be looking like, man, I got this bread. It ain't doing nothing. I ain't trying to lose a deal over a couple grand for real. But I need to get better at being the best negotiator I could be for real.
So from what I'm hearing here, Art, the only thing, I mean, I think you did great. I mean, to give somebody $5,000 and take over their loan with that much equity, I mean, it's like almost no brainer. Deal. So here's the catch, though, and this is a little more advanced, but it's not too advanced for you because you can handle this. I would tell her, yes, I do the 5,000 if I can have you complete all the paperwork to help me put these arrears on the back of the loan, because you still need her if you want to do that. Now, if we are not able to put that on the back of the loan, I can get you $2,000 or something like that. But if you're willing to help, do all the documents. See, you want to keep her on your team. You want something, I want something. I'll give you the $5,000 in the event we get the bank approved to do something with these exorbitant amount of arrears on this property. But in the event they don't, or you don't want to work with me, and it doesn't matter if the bank approves it or not. It's more so I need them to work with me to get this done because you still need them. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So you can implement that into it, not to overwhelm them with too much stuff on a front call like that. I'm just saying that's something versus you saying, yes, I can do that. Say, it sounds like it's a winner. Let's go ahead and get that on paper. I think this looks like it's good to go. Once she's under contract, that's what you can hit her with, something like that. Because you still need her to fill out all whatever, lien documents. Because like the one I just did, I had to go back 4 times to get the lady to sign the paper. Because the first time they sent it, it was something wrong and didn't sign it right or missed a page or something silly. Second time they sent it, it was too late. It got back after the date that it had to be done by. Third time, I don't know what the hell. Third time they said, oh no, it's a deceased person on there because her husband died. So it had his name on there. They had to redo the documents. I had to send in the death certificate to the bank. Then they sent back the documents to say in the estate of the person that's deceased, the decedent, and the wife. So she had to sign as the wife, and then she had to sign as the executor of the estate for her deceased husband. So 4 times I had to send the same packet of paperwork back. You see, and any time between that, my seller could have said, no, Chris, I'm tired of this. I don't want to do this. But she didn't do that to me. But I'm just saying, keep something in your pocket as some type of leverage versus knowing I'm going to give them everything they want. Yes, we know we're going to give them what they want, but we need them to work with us all the way through. Is that all making sense?
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
That's when you get a high level. But you can handle it, Art. I know you can handle all this. You be soaking all this in.
For sure. For sure.
Would you put those type of conditions in contract?
No.
So even when you put put conditions on, the money and everything, you still wouldn't type that into a contract?
Not necessarily. What I would do is go ahead and start working on that process right now. Like the day we got it under contract, We get our authorization to release. We communicate with the bank. They tell us, yeah, we do have programs, but this is what our program is. It might need signatures from her, or it might not. It depends on what program they say they have. Because I've done it where they didn't do anything. It was all on the internet, and they just did it. This other one needed wet signature, so I can even use my virtual notary that I love to use. They were like, nope, we got to have the actual document mailed back, overnighted with this FedEx thing or whatever. So you could, but initially on a conversation, I wouldn't be getting too deep into the weeds on it. I would just tell them, if you can work with me to get this done, we will do that. Now, one way you could set that is, yes, under contract, to do it the way you just was talking about, Justin. In that contract, you can do it where it says, I'm going to give her $2,000 at closing and $3,000 upon loan modification with the bank or something like that, when you're going through title and escrow, if you want to put them on paper to say that, which is actually the safest way to do it, but it's not necessarily, most people are going to do the right thing, I would say.
So I want to get into real estate, but don't know where to start.
Well, what I would say is to join the Future Cash Flow Club. It's a community of investors where we talk about wholesaling, we talk about creative deal structuring, buying houses subject to, all of the creative stuff that everybody's talking about. You don't need a real estate license or any of that.
Wow, where do I sign up?
Well, I would say go to futurecashflowclub.com. That's futurecashflowclub.com. You can even get a free trial. Try it out today. Most. You can kind of tell who's going to be dirt bags because they're going to give you problems from the beginning. But, yeah.
Cool.
But yeah,
If they don't cooperate, then ultimately we don't help them with their problem anyway.
Exactly. So that's why we start the process today. Because when is our auction?
One of them is in March on this property. That's the Maryville one. I got a
Yeah, you got plenty of time.
Yeah, on one of them, I got to pull up the. I don't remember the date for the other one.
Because it might even be better to work that out around the time before closing, to have it in process, because it's going to take them a while to do that. So if they do need something signed, we want to go ahead and have that signed off and sent back. Another way, which is like getting levels to this stuff, not to get too deep in the weeds, but in the event that, say, you did close it, make sure you have that limited power of attorney, because you may be able to sign for them on that thing. But I'd rather for them to sign it before doing it, because it just looks better on paper to the bank.
Right. That makes sense.
I prefer the real person, because they're going to act, they live in there and all this stuff. And you're really technically telling the truth at this point. If the bank say, are they still residing at the property? Sure they are. Now, if you close on it and start renting it out and doing all this, and then you're still going back trying to work this stuff, it's kind of like you're doing something fraudulent, and we don't want you caught up in none of that.
Chris, would you rent out the property without even seeing it?
What I need to see the property for?
Would you rent it out without seeing it?
What I need to see it for?
Oh man, these guys are silly.
I'm just asking, why do I need to see it? I mean, I bought old houses that I never did anything to. And I'm not doing, well, let's be clear. Let's clean this up. I don't do traditional rental. So if you talk about anything traditional rental, you're asking the wrong person. When you talk in the world of where I live in, a creative world, lease options, contract for deeds, stuff like that, I don't need to see the house. I just need to give them access to get into the property. If they like the property, they go ahead and move in on it, because they're taking it as is anyway. I'm not fixing that. What I need to see the property for.
So you would tell him, he just got the house out in California, basically to post it, have whoever he closing the deal with take pictures of it and stuff so you can have it to post it, and then just rent it out as is without even ever walking into the property.
What I need to walk through it for? Now, on a traditional rental, you are correct with what you're saying. But what I do, I don't need to do all of that. I could walk through it, but what I'm going to say, 4 walls, a kitchen, a bathroom, some dirt, some cat poop. I'm not messing with none of that stuff anyway. I'm moving it as is, just like a cash wholesale deal.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not saying every situation is going to be that way, but a lot of them will be. I'm buying it as is. I'm exiting as is. I'm not cleaning it out, doing none of that if I don't have to.
It's a lease to
I'm
own.
not
Yeah, that makes
painting it.
sense. Yeah. Yeah,
I'm
that
not
makes
doing none of
sense.
that. So what I can see it for?
Somebody else, like
Now
the
the
person
person
that's going
moving
to
in
live
it,
in it.
yeah.
Yeah, you're saying, Chris, like the person who's actually going to live in that house. That's your your customer per se. You don't care about the condition of it because they're the ones who actually pay that bill. I wouldn't care as well. I don't need to. I'm with you. I don't need to see it at all.
I got a question for you, Mr. Mason. What does Bank of America do? Do they come out and look at your house when they financing it? Do they do anything?
Oh, when I bought my house, no. I had to sign a bunch of paper. Well, they sent an appraisal, but outside of that, nope.
They don't care what need to be fixed in that house, as long as it meets the standard and you like it and you want to sign for it. It's your baby.
Yep. It's your issue, not mine. Once you sign, here's that loan. Make those payments. I don't care.
So if you get Mr. Holmes, if you think about it, be like the bank. What would the bank do? That's when you start thinking about stuff like that. How would the bank operate in this situation?
The bank send out people. They don't send out staff, but the appraiser is their eyes and ears.
But if I'm going to move it on a creative, and like I said, if you're doing traditional rent, yes, everything you're saying is correct, but I don't do traditional rent. If I know I'm going to move this as a lease option, or I'm going to move this as a contract for deed, some type of executory contract, if I know that already, there's nothing for me really to do. I mean, I could go look at it, but what I'm going to be doing? I'm not fixing nothing. Now, there has been times where you could have a tenant buyer come along and say, hey, I want the house if this was fixed. We can structure that. If we make a deal and they say, hey, yeah, I'm going to give you $8,000 down, but before I move in, I need that fixed. Okay. Put down a deposit. I use their money and fix it. Ain't no big deal. I still ain't came out of nothing. If I had to. What is this art and the link? Drive, what's that, pictures?
Yeah, that's pictures. Man, you was hitting the nail right on the head of what I wanted to ask you about, and you told me to bring it to the group tonight. He was just asking, do you go look at these properties and all of that? So what I wanted to ask you is, based on the condition of this property, should I move forward with purchasing it?
Yeah, with the amount of money you putting in it, I would go see this property. Now the only reason I said not to see it, I want to be clear about this. Let me go back to my screen here. When I'm saying I don't need,
it's not that property. It's the other property.
Okay,
this is the other one.
Yeah,
dude who only want 2,000 to walk away.
All the way. I want to make sure we got this fully answered completely. I'm only saying I don't need to see it because I got an end buyer going to see it. They're the buyer. They're the one that's going to approve the deal. They're spending their money to approve it, and their know-how and their cousin going to clean it out and fix it up. If they know they're going to do all of that, I don't need to do any of that. But if I'm buying it and I think I'm going to do some other kind of exit strategy, then nah, I need to see it. Now, about this house that you just sent in the pictures here, what are you asking about that, Art?
This is the other deal where the dude only want 2,000 to walk away. I haven't been able to see the mortgage statement on this one yet. What he's telling me is the last time a payment was made was October. So he about 3 or 4 months behind on his payments of $700 a month. And he wants 2,000 to walk away.
I mean, it doesn't sound like it's, unreasonable. I mean, how much lower can you go than 2,000? I mean, it's pretty low. You know what I mean? What's his arrears?
I haven't been able to get that information yet. He told me the last time he made the payment was in October.
But he don't know. So maybe 3 to 4 months.
Correct.
Okay. I don't know what you've been doing. You been asleep? Let me wake you up with something. Straight up. Yeah. Allow me to reintroduce myself. I'm Chris Monroe. R to the O-E. I flip houses, rent cars, and make money. You know I'm not no motherfucker dummy. This how we do.